Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. So today it's time to work on the little Bead tractor here. You can see we got us a bad tire. There's a big old split in it. This tire's got a tube in it, and the other one, I don't know, it's okay, but I've got two new tires and we're just going to go ahead and change them out. And I'm going to demonstrate this Bead Buster XB450. And this little gem works great. And a friend at work told me about this and I tried it out, and man, it really works good. So the way I used to get my tires separated off the rim, which is called breaking the bead, I would lay the tire flat with the rim and I would run over it with my truck on the side and try to get that vehicle tire to push this tire off the rim. And sometimes it'd take 3 or 4 tries, and the vehicle tire would be close to the rim, the sidewall, so it's kind of dicey, you know, you might split the side of your tire out, but that's how I used to do it. And I mentioned that to him, and he said, hey, try one of these bead blasters, and man, it works good. So I'm going to show you how this thing works, and it's awesome. And then I'll show you how I mount the new tires on there and get the bead attached and popped out on there. So let's get going. So normally on these tires, when I get a leak, I'll find it with some leak detect solution, which is just soapy water, and I'll fix them with plugs. So you can see this tire has had many plugs in it, and it is time to move on. So this tire here, and look at that big old crack, and this tire has a tube in it. Okay, let me show you how this little gadget works. So when you start out, you have your bolt here backed all the way up, and this little thing here goes to the rim. You want to back it off a little bit too. So let all the air out of your tire, which it's already done on this one. So this little point here goes under your rim, between the rim and the side of the tire. This little rubber part goes against your rim and tightens down on it to hold it in place. And when you crank this bolt down, this little centerpiece pushes down and pushes the tire away from the rim, while these two outside pieces hang on to the rim. So you get it down on there and get this up and pushed up against the rim good, and you tighten down this side, which holds it in place while it's pushing down. What I found on most tires, you don't have to have this super tight. So we got it in place now, and this is a 3/4 socket, and it doesn't take a lot of force. This is way overkill, 1/2 inch impact. You could probably use a drill. So it's all the way down, and it slid off the tire a little bit there. On smaller tires like the fronts, they've always popped right off. I think I'll let it back up and see if I can get a better bite under there. Show you what I'm talking about here. So see how the little foot is, the edge of the tire's up here and it's down here on the side. Ideally you want that to be on top of this, and I was having a hard time getting it on there. That's why I backed it off and retried it. But I never had to do this on the smaller tires. got me a little persuader here. Yeah, there we go. So now it's crack free. We just need to push it on down. And it's just a bolt. So, all right, now we need to do the other side. So we can get this tire off with our tire irons. Try a little dead blow here, see if we can maybe get it a little better, a little closer. Yeah, it's going up under there farther. This time I got it tighter, you could saw it kind of swivel. So I think this is going to be it's going to work better this time, I think. Yep, worked a lot better that time. I always back it out too far. The bolt falls off. So that's that part of using this bead buster, man. This thing works great. I wasn't going to do a video on it, but man, it saves me a lot of time and hassle, and I really like it. Okay, now the not so fun part. So I used to race dirt bikes and ran enduros, and in an enduro you might have a flat and you would have to change your tire out on trail, or put a tube in it. So these are motorcycle tire irons. So to flip this side of the tire up over the rim, you need some slack back here. And to get slack, you get it down off the bead and pushed in and pull this rim kind of towards this direction. Otherwise, it's going to be near impossible. You're going to bend your tire tool. Things ain't going to work, and you're going to start swearing. So see how easy that came up? So I like to use this thicker tool to get my get it started, and then I use this thinner one to work it on around. And a rule of thumb, the smaller diameter tire it is, the harder it is to do this, and the smaller bites you need to take as you go around. Here we got it licked on this side. Once you see this done, it's easy, but if you do it by yourself and you're just wrestling and fighting it, man, it can be a huge pain. So now we got to get the other side off the rim, which it is. So now we need to bring this side over the opposite side and get it out of there, which I got this stupid tube in the way here. Gonna have to get the tube out. It's got a zip tie holding this stem. I'll try and save this tube if I can. Okay, thankfully it's not full of slime, like fix-a-flat stuff, but it is kind of damp in there. Okay. So now you see we got our rim where it's free to move, but we got to get it past this one more side. So the way you do that, and I haven't done it on a tire this big, so you get your tire tool in there like this, hook that rim, and pry it towards you. And then you get on top of it and start smacking it with a hammer. And I see green stuff, so there is slime in it. There. Nice new baby rim just born. So there's that light green stuff, slime. It works great to fix a flat, but when you got to deal with it later is nasty stuff, which it's not too bad. I've had some look way worse than this. Okay, so we want to take a wire brush and clean this bead. There's like flaking paint, rust. So when your new tire pops up on here, you want to have a clean surface to mate. Okay, if anybody's wondering, these are 23 by 10.5 by 12s. So I got these on Amazon, and they're not sold by Amazon. It was a retailer on Amazon. So the tricky part is to get this on the rim. So to do this, it's kind of a reverse of the other operation. You cram it down in there as far as you can, and then just start working. Might be better with a short one, piece by piece, to get it in there. And use some soapy water. This is the same stuff I use to detect leaks. A little lubrication helps. When you're doing this part here, once you get most of the way through, it'll just pop right in there, because it's not up on the rim, it's down in the middle, so you got a little bit of slack. There we go, boom. So now we need to get the other side. Oh, I almost forgot. We got to get our valve stem in here. So I like to use these bolt-in valve stems, so I don't need a valve stem insertion tool. You just put it in from the back side and tighten the nut. If you had a rim without a tube, you would have had a valve stem still there, and you can reuse them, but over time they get old and they crack and they start leaking. So while you're in here, save yourself from having to do this again, and just put one of these on. So be sure to have the rubber piece on the back side and a rubber piece on the front side. So you need a 9/16 deep socket. There we go. Okay, so we want to get our soapy water on here. If you don't have any water and you got WD-40, that'll work too. I always try to start right in front of me and start working my way around. So it's going to start pulling the tire away from you. And you can take pretty big bites at first on this, but once you get down to the part where you're wanting to snap it in, that's when you start taking the smaller bites. See how that soapy water just helps that slide? If you don't do that, it makes a big difference. So see how I push that down? That's going to help me over here, give me more slack to drag this up with. If you don't do that, you'll be fighting it over here, and you can actually tear your bead on your tire if you crank it too hard with your tire tool. We about got it licked. Once you get here, it's going to pop right in. Probably one more. Boom. Okay, so that's just part of the battle now. The hard part in some of this operation is to get this tire up on the rim. And in a tire shop, on their tire mount jig that they've got, they can shove a ton of air in this and just poof, pop it out real quick. Well, we don't have that here, but I do have an air compressor and a special attachment I can put on here to give it as much air as I can shove through it, through this valve stem. So if it doesn't pop right out, well, I'll go ahead and use the method with the ratchet strap. And you don't always have to do this, but I'm just going to show you just in case you run into this. So this is putting pressure in the middle, and it's kind of forcing those mating surfaces to get closer. All right, so we'll take our valve stem out and get our air hose out here. Okay, this is a clamp-on air chuck, and you can just put it on your valve stem, and it doesn't have to have a valve stem core in there for it to work. So you can shove your air in there as fast as you want, but you have to be careful with this because it's not going to stop putting air in the tire till you pull it off. There it goes. Keep your fingers away from the edge. Take this off now. So these rims are rated 30 psi max. So you can't do this like a car tire where you put, you know, close to 100 psi in there. So I need to stress this part is dangerous. So you don't want to go. You don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on this because this is a 30 psi rated rim, because it could blow up in your face. And I know a person that had that happen, so it's a real thing. And you see it still needs a little more right here. It's not quite up yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put the valve core in so I can see how much pressure I'm dealing with. I'm going to put another nozzle on my air hose. Okay. We've got 10 psi in here, so we're good. We got a long ways to go. $25. And looks like we're pretty much on the rim except a little bit right there. I'd like to see it. And bouncing them around helps. I think that's as good as it's going to get. We'll go ahead and take it up to 30. But I want to fill this with soapy water. Make sure I got no bubbles around my rim. And I do not. So we got us a good seal. This side's not leaking either. Let's check the valve stem. No leaks on the valve stem. So let's go ahead and take it up to 30 psi. And there. Put our valve stem cover on. Yeah, so that's it. This took me probably about actual working about 20 minutes. So I spent most of my time chasing tools I didn't have out here ready. But the Bead Buster XB450, so this will work on ATV tires too. It's the right size for that. So if you got a side-by-side or four-wheeler, this works great for those. They make two other sizes. They make one for a car tire too, so you could actually do this with a car tire, but you got to have different tire tools for that, a lot heavier duty and longer. So let's see, special equipment. So you will need a valve stem remover and one of these air chucks that's clamp on, and I don't know why that one is doing what it's doing, but it should not let air out when you have it on your hose. But that's basically it for special tools. You could use a ratchet or probably a drill. This is a 1/2" impact. It's not the real super high torque one. It's not the XR, and it does fine. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope this was helpful to some people. Do it yourself. Yeah, if I can't do it myself, I don't like having other people do stuff like this for me and pay money to do it. If I could do it myself, I'd do it. So that's the end of the video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. We'll catch you on the next product demonstration video. Talk to you later.